Welcome to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time. Hello, Kevin.
What up, Matt?
Not much.
Yeah, another day.
Relaxing.
Friday was exciting.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody paid attention to commodity prices.
It was. I didn't have a chance to get online. I was real busy the morning at work, and then I drove back up to our home base and logged into my computer while I was eating lunch, and I was like, what the heck happened?
Gold dropped almost 10%, and silver tanked a little over 35%.
Wild, dude. So it was up, what was the high, 116, 115?
At one point.
And then
it didn't stay there long.
And then when I looked, I was like $75?
Yeah, I think it's back up to 84.
Okay.
I think that's where it's at. And, you know.
There was a bunch of places on Facebook, because my wife would send me screenshots saying, hey, this place is selling for $5 under spot. I said, yeah, the price is inflated right now. It's $115 an ounce. And I was like, I'll wait. I'm going to wait. It's going to go back down. Plus, the only thing they were selling mostly was bars, 1 ounce bars or more. Not very many coins.
Well, how smart is that? Because Scotsman refused, or actually made an announcement, they're stopped purchasing from customers bars, unmarked, not, commercial.
Yeah, so they were still buying dated coins, certain dates, and
they quit altogether buying anything sterling. So all you people holding on to silverware and old silver-plated pots and pans, your grandparents' stuff, thinking you're going to use it in the bad days. Yeah, it ain't going to work.
No.
This is a good example.
It takes a lot of processing to get the silver out of that, actually.
Yeah.
And it costs money, and they don't want to waste their time with it.
So as soon as you're going to get a chance to sell it, I would sell it.
Yeah.
If nothing else, trade it for real silver bullion.
Yeah.
That's what you should be doing. Don't hold on to this.
I was telling my wife, I'm only interested in buying coins, either quarters, dimes, or, silver dollars, or 1 ounce collectible silver coins.
Like American Eagles.
Whatever.
Canadian maples.
Yep, I got some of those. Don't they have some Australian ones?
Yeah, the kangaroo.
They got Chinese with the panda bear on it.
You got the Libertads, the Mexicans.
Swiss. They have some Swiss one.
I think if nothing else, it would be smart if you had a little bit of Canadian, a little bit of Mexican, a little bit of Chinese silver for when they decide to infiltrate the United States. You can barter with those guys.
Yeah. Plus, learning from history of how the gold was confiscated. People had gold bars or, pieces of gold and all that. But the way it was written is they couldn't take the collectible coins, because you could say, this is just a coin collection. It's not for wealth or whatever. So that's why the collectible coins are.
Or just don't own any of it like me. I like to talk about it, but that's about as far as it goes.
Well, you can know I have it, but good luck getting it. It was weird to see, but there's a bunch of strange geopolitical things that happen that affect the prices of commodities. Even, you remember that movie Trading Places? And they were buying pork bellies. That was like the big thing, because they knew something was going on in Kansas where it was going to affect the pig ranchers and like all this weird junk. But that stuff's real. It's true.
Yep, the orange juice report.
Yeah.
Here's your $1.
Yeah, that was good. So, it's fun to track it, and I like to just watch it every day just to see where it goes. I mean, I have a certain amount, and I'll wait. And this is a pretty good dip. If I could have gotten out, if I would have known on my way back north, if I would have known the price was down that far, I definitely would have stopped at Scotsman and bought some silver yesterday. But I didn't even know. So I was like, well, I'm not going to spend the gas money to go all the way back down there. And
Well, you always have Monday. I don't think it's, even if it went up, I don't think it's going to go up that quick.
no.
You know, we were talking right before we went on the air that, you know, the silver to gold ratio maintains a traditionally certain level.
Yeah.
And even though they both go up over time, which is natural, silver just went up way too fast, way too quick. And it was a matter of time before people were going to start taking advantage of that and
Yeah.
taking
I kept,
the profit.
you know, like my wife or even my mom, she was like, should I buy more silver? Should I buy more silver? I said, no, this is not real. Hold on. Just wait for it to get back to normal.
Or if you take the other traditional method of purchasing silver and you're using dollar cost averaging, you
Yeah.
use the same amount of money. You're going to buy less this month, but
Sure.
you might buy more next month.
Right.
The
Yeah.
same amount of money.
That's a good way to do it. You just have a set dollar amount that you're going to spend every month or every week, whatever, and that's you get what you get,
Mm-hmm.
and don't worry about the market fluctuations. What else? Snow's still hanging around, dude. It's freezing cold outside right now.
I don't think the snow that we have now will go away before March.
Yeah, it's like
We're not going to get a warm up enough in February, and we're supposed to get more here at some point.
soon.
A couple
Yeah.
weeks, I think.
All right. It's pretty still though. It's not that ugly, wet snow. You remember, like back in the day, it would just like
Black,
hang around, so
nasty.
it would just turn black and
Never
be
melt
gross.
because there's so much dirt mixed in with it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It doesn't look like that, so that's okay. Still pretty. What else is going on? Current events. Anything else you want to touch on before we get into this bourbon you brought?
Absolutely not. I don't want to talk any current events.
Okay.
It's for the dogs.
Well, I wouldn't be any good anyway because I have no idea really what's going on.
Oh, well, there's a lot happening. I almost want. Well, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm going to cause some trouble.
Okay.
So, there was an article in local news this morning about an anti-ice protest that took place in Webster Groves, Missouri, and
Is
it
there
was
a facility there or something?
schools. They were high school kids
Oh gosh.
that all went. A little over 200 of them
Okay.
participated in, this little anti-ice protest.
So did they like skip school to go do it?
Yes,
Oh,
they
nice.
did. And I looked up the school. Probably shouldn't have done that.
What was it?
It was an all-female high school.
Is it Immaculate Heart? Is that what it is?
No, it's called, I can't even pronounce it, Neerinks
Oh yeah,
Hall High
Neerinks
School.
Hall. Yeah.
Okay, private high school.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that obviously made me figure out why they made their anti-ice protest.
Well, their parents are all liberals, obviously.
Well, if I go to their little motto of faith, community, justice, and respect.
Oh my goodness.
Let's click on justice. Respect. 46% of students receive scholarships, diversity awards, or aid. I went, okay.
So do they all drive their BMWs to the protest?
Well, maybe so. And I'm going,
Volvos.
no wonder.
Probably a bunch of Subarus too.
So that's, again, they're just like their parents.
Yep.
I'm going to say that. I'm just going to say it right out loud.
And they're probably all going to go to college and get liberal arts degrees or,
And wondering why they're not getting hired at $148,000 a year the first year out, and they're going to become
baristas,
or professional Antifa protesters.
OnlyFans.
Yep, and they're going to pick up flashbang grenades with their bare hands and watch their hand just shrivel and come apart, and they're wondering why everybody hates them so much.
Yeah. This is not fair. I picked up an explosive device and it blew my fingers off. That's not fair.
Well, okay.
That's actually the ultimate definition of fair. That's what you get.
Anyway, I went there. I'm not going to keep going there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So let's talk about good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about bourbon.
This is very interesting that you brought. This is, looking at it from across the table, it looks black in your hand in the bottle.
Like coffee.
Yeah.
This is Oak and Eden finished whiskey, Cabernet steeped oak, known as Bourbon and Vine. Bourbon whiskey finished with a Cabernet steeped French oak spiral. This is label batch Bravo 042, bottle number 0447. It is 90 proof.
And they say these are hand bottled.
Yes. And it is, I'm going to stop there for a second because I'm going to draw you into a little bit.
What is the price point on this?
$60.
Wow. That's surprising.
And
with all the effort they had to put into like all the different
Yes.
steps in the process.
Well, I think that the
They blowing smoke?
effort might be a little overdone. The mash bill is 60% corn, 36% rye,
Oh.
and 4% malted barley.
That's surprise. That much rye. Okay.
They are not their own distillery.
Shocking.
They get it from several undisclosed sources,
Yeah. So that means Buffalo Trace or
mainly from MGP.
MGP. Yep.
It's amazing what MGP produces
That's a massive factory.
and what everybody
be.
can do with it.
In fact, I'm going to look them up. All right. So what do you want to draw me into?
Oh, well,
You want to talk about the
let's talk
flavor
about the
profile?
finish. No, I'm
The
going to talk
finish?
about the finish before we get into it.
Okay.
So, what it is unique about this particular Oak and Eden Bourbon and Vine is that they use a 5-inch long wood spiral that is French oak,
5-inch long?
French white oak.
Okay.
They refer to it as the spire.
Yeah.
And it is steeped in, what's it called? Marker Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon barrels for 4 to 8 weeks.
Holy crap. I just looked up NGP Indiana.
Yeah.
And did a satellite image. Yike, that is a massive factory. They have a railhead there.
Now you know everybody's getting it.
That is massive, man.
So, this 5-inch long spiral of French oak, they call the spire, is rested in Marker Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon for 4 to 8 weeks. Then once that is done, they take that spiral out of the cab and they drop it in the bottle. And then they bottle the bourbon. And what you didn't notice is the 5-inch long spiral is in the bottle.
Really?
Yeah,
Give me that.
it's like getting your tequila worm.
You can't even see it.
It's there.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
So I
Gotta
think,
hold it up to the light.
yeah. So I think what we're tasting, because I've had this bottle for probably 4 years.
It's been sitting on the shelf steeping that.
That long.
Wow.
And so who knows what it looked like? I don't remember what it looked like if I was to buy a new one. And
Tricky.
it would
man.
change the profile and everything.
Yeah.
So what we're tasting is something that's just been sitting there and
Rotten wood.
could be for 4 years now. And we're getting the after effects of that.
That is, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting process.
Yeah. Little different. And anyway, what did you think on the nose?
The first thing that
Rose.
popped out to me was raisins.
Yep.
Like very strong raisins. Some port and cherries, dark cherries. And there's something, on the taste. I put mincemeat pie, like the mincemeat. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
That it's like a weird fruit concoction with a lot of
Yes.
spice, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what I was remembering.
Almost like the 4-ingredient or the 5-ingredient protein bars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, figs and
Yes.
dates and almonds and that kind of stuff. Right. I did get that. It says on the bottle hints of coconut, and so I'm like really, really trying hard to see what I can taste any coconut in there. I couldn't get it.
Oh, as a matter of fact, it's probably because it sat so long. Really, it could have an effect on it. Because
Yeah.
for me, I thought the tannin was pretty strong.
Very tannic. Yes.
On the nose, for me, I definitely got dark red wine feel, and it smelled like not plums or dark fruit like you mentioned, but the peel,
The peel?
the skin.
I was getting more like, when you open a box of sun-kissed raisins and you stick your
Yeah.
nose in the box and smell it. That's what it smelled like to me.
Yeah. And then similar things for the nose. Really what jumped out at me for the nose is it's kind of like buttery. And it reminded me of Robitussin cough syrup. It's
The
kind
greens?
of
No,
is it- no.
Robitussin's red, isn't
Yeah.
it? The cherry red stuff.
the red cough syrup kind of feel, and very velvety. And it's got good legs,
Yeah.
And
And I'm sure they probably just do a normal 4-year age or something like that.
yeah, I can't remember. I want to say the age, they listed the age somewhere a little over 2 years or somewhere. But then for me, the finish was, it's very rich. It tasted like sherry.
Yeah.
And the corn sour mash part of it just really lingers and pops out
Mash,
of there.
corn.
Yeah.
That's what I got on the finish. And the burn, there's hardly any burn at all,
Yeah.
but the little bit that I do feel is right at the bottom of my esophagus. Like it's all the way down before I feel anything
Yeah.
at all even.
And, we opened this up right before we started recording,
Yeah.
get some notes together. And even now into the show, it still smells exactly the same as it did before.
Yep.
It hasn't changed.
Yeah. I don't think this could be a bender night. Like
Oh,
drink four or five of these.
now unless you want to hurl. This
yeah.
is one of those that will cause you to hurl, I
I
think.
think so. Very rich.
But
So
yeah, crazy.
stick around to the end of the show. We'll give it our star rating and talk about it a little bit more at the end of the show. Don't skip to the end, please, because we do have a good show topic that we're going to discuss today.
Yeah, maybe.
I spent about an hour down here by myself taking notes and doing just prepping for you to come over, and I was excited for you to get here.
Cool.
Like, let's go, man. I want to
Well,
talk about this.
let's grease the skids a little bit and
Okay.
warm everybody up. Because on
All right.
this day in history,
Yeah.
1943, the Germans in Stalingrad, Soviet Union, today Russia, known as Volgograd, surrendered. That battle started in July of 1942, lasted almost 7 months.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
How many, what were the casualties? Do
Well,
you-
I'm
you
going
know,
to paint a picture. So anybody can get out a map and look at this. Get out Google Maps and then zoom in to the city limits of St. Louis, Missouri.
yeah,
Just the
it's
city
almost-
limits.
Yeah.
And you will find a lot of strange similarities between Stalingrad and the city limits of St. Louis.
But it's kind of like a mirror image, right?
They're banked on the river,
Yeah.
the west side of the river.
Oh, okay.
And it is it's got a little bit of bulge, but kind of narrow and long. And there's a curve in the river. Now, Stalingrad curves like a crescent moon, whereas St. Louis curves the opposite. But the similarities are very stark.
So much so that the U.S. government decided St. Louis is a great place to test biological weapons.
Yes. And the same map is used by Batman in the old TV show
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
as Metropolis.
Metropolis. Yeah.
But anyway, so if you picture that in your head, the current population of St. Louis is just over 300,000 people. Now, when the Germans launched their 1942 offensive across southern Russia, their mission was to get to the Caucasus because that's where all the oil was.
Wow.
And they wanted the oil, obviously.
Sure.
And lo and behold, they're moving that way, and then Hitler decides to see this pretty little city called Stalingrad
It was like a symbolic victory that he wanted.
because he wanted to take out the name of Stalin.
Yeah.
So he diverted the entire offensive,
But Stalingrad today is called what?
Volgograd.
Volgograd. Okay.
And so he changed the entire offensive towards that city. And it was just wild.
And that was against the advice of his generals.
Oh, of course. But they're not going to argue too much.
No.
But what's so wild about it is between the casualties between the Germans and the Soviets were a little over 2 million.
And that's not counting civilian deaths from starvation.
Right, because Stalin refused to allow the civilian population to evacuate.
Right.
He wanted their stand to be Stalingrad.
Right.
This was going to be it. No one was no longer allowed to retreat. And they actually stayed there while the Germans are still attacking the tractor factory, which was building tanks. They were still building tanks while they're still
attack.
fighting.
Yeah.
They're still building. I mean, this is how crazy it was. Some of the things that was going on there, the railroad station, over the course of 3 days, changed hands between German and Soviet 18 times. I mean, it was just a hotbed of death. That's all it was.
What month did they start their attack?
July.
Okay.
And then they surrendered right at the end of January.
Yeah. So yet another empire dragged into a land war in the inner Russian territory that went into winter.
Of the 91,000 German prisoners that surrendered, obviously prisoners, of the 91,000, only 5,000 survived to return home to Germany after the war was over. And the Soviet Union did not even release them until 10 years after the end of the war. So they didn't go home till 1955.
Holy cow.
The final 5,000.
I wonder if, and did they send them to East Germany? They're probably like, all right, we're going to release you, but only to East Germany.
You know, I didn't get into those details, but General or Field Marshal General von Paulus, who was promoted to Field Marshal the day before he surrendered, because Hitler realized that no Prussian Field Marshal ever surrendered without giving up his life. He died in battle. So he promotes von Paulus to Field Marshal, and he surrendered the next day.
Oh, man.
And he, sold out the Germans, ended up doing propaganda for the Soviets.
Wow.
Things like that. And then immediately after the war, he repatriated back to East Germany, where he lived until the 50s or 60s, until he passed away.
Dang.
But just brutal. That's where sniper warfare became the hot topic.
Have you ever read the book Blood Red Snow?
Yes.
The Memoirs of a German Soldier in the Eastern Front by Gunter K. Koschorek.
Yep, I have it.
I have it too, and holy cow, man, the brutality. The combat was brutal, but just the living conditions and the food, the lack of food, the lack of clothing, guys would get wounded and just left to freeze to death in the snow.
And they'd be stripped of everything.
And then strip everything off of them while they're still alive.
Yeah.
And, on the Russian side, you had people starving to death, and the brutal things that they would do to each other just to eat, including cannibalism, just horrible, horrible atrocities all around.
They had hit squads out there, so any Soviet soldier who tried to retreat or get across the river again, they shot him.
Just shoot them. Yeah.
And then many of them, they just flooded across the river and go pick up your rifle. You'll find plenty. Just go get a rifle.
Yeah, they would give one guy a rifle and the other guy ammo.
Yeah.
And they just stick together. One of you is going to die, so you just take it from the other.
But it's amazing if you picture St. Louis, for all of us who live in the Midwest or have been to St. Louis many times, more than once. Let's say you're at Union Station. And from Union Station, you can see the arch.
Yes.
It's not that far, half mile.
Yeah.
It would take nearly 30 days to get from Union Station to the arch. Yeah. Fighting building to building.
Yeah, building.
Retreating by building, going back through. They were running through the sewer systems.
They were probably in the same buildings, just occupying different floors.
They fought floor by floor in every building. There's so many stories about it. It's just unreal.
And meanwhile, grandmothers and mothers and children are trying to survive and live and go find food and scavenge.
And it got to a point where anything that moved, you were dead.
Yes.
They didn't look to see if you were friendly or not. If you were present, because the smoke and the haze and so much was going on, you're immediately shot.
Yeah, the movie Enemy of the Gates, even though it's fantastical and, kind of Hollywood version of course, of everything, but just like like you can see their fingernails are just filthy. Like everybody in the movie is just filthy, dirty, and but that gets into the sniper warfare a little bit. Yeah. And I think the character's name is Vasily Zaitsev, I think, but he's kind of a amalgamation of different characters. Then, really, I think that legend was actually a Finnish sniper who killed a bunch of Russians. But the Finns were the only ones that didn't get taken over during World War II, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that if you are trying to make a comparison and trying to understand this battle,
just pull up a map of St. Louis.
Look at St. Louis.
Yeah.
And then you kind of understand what was taking place and how they're fighting just inch by inch.
I would really like to go to Russia. I feel like being there would just feel heavy. Like, think of the amount of death and I don't want to go there for morbid curiosity. I would like to go see the history of it. But man, anytime there's a war involving Russia, there's going to be a lot of people dead.
They have a really good memorial there. Their eternal flame.
Oh yeah,
that's there is beautiful.
Didn't somebody pour water on it, extinguish it, and they got like life in prison not too long ago?
I don't know.
I think it was not that long ago.
But it is beautiful. And they've got the 24-hour guard on it. Similar to what we do with the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Yeah. And JFK's got eternal flame, didn't he, on his grave?
He might. I mean,
I think he does.
The Veterans Memorial walk down here with the boots is an eternal flame.
Yeah. That's a good one, right? No Fallon.
Mm-hmm.
When Caitlin first saw that, she was amazed. She was like, that is amazing. But I had to tell her, like, as a veteran, when you see the boots on that one, they're supposed to be marching boots, but they're standing in formation as if you should be standing at attention. So I always thought it would have been better if the boots were at attention.
Yeah.
But it's still great. It's very touching. I as a veteran, I appreciate it.
So one of the things, and that was a good lead up, because then what happened was, as I'm kind of looking at what's happened today before we get into our show, a couple days ago, actually yesterday, that's why, I didn't even text you till this morning what I was thinking about, because it was yesterday evening, and I happened to go, because I just recently came out of reading Poems and Prayers by Matthew McConaughey, and I saw a short on YouTube that I happened to listen to, and he's telling this story real quick though, and he had this one quote. He says, "I've had many crises in my life."
That's a Texas public education.
Right. But none of them happened. And
oh boy,
it led me down a rabbit hole there, because it started with the thought process of things I would worry about or give too much time and effort into thinking of outcomes or what's going to happen. Yeah. And the reality is none of it ever comes true.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Like, the worst things that has ever happened to me all happened inside my head.
Right. It's a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy.
They were things that I was anxious about could happen that never came true. And, so when you said resilience and perseverance, I'm trying to, those are two very different words. Right. But they go hand in hand as well. So we could talk for days about it. But perseverance is the word that really stuck out to me as my focus when you said that. And, sitting down here, I was getting, like, I texted you, I was like, dude, I'm getting emotional just doing the notes, getting prepared for this, because, I'm looking back over my life where times I've had to persevere, and whether it be physical, emotional, spiritual, in all these times. And I'm thinking about you, and, you told your story about cancer, and that process, that persevering that you went through then. And, I have on my bookshelf now about the martyrs, the book about the martyrs. And I've read Viktor Frankl and what he went through. And then you could read Slaughterhouse 5, about the, American POW and the bombing of Dresden. Just all these things. And, you know, plus me being a first responder formerly, seeing people's homes burn down.
Mm-hmm.
And you look across the street and the families standing there. You'll never, ever see a family's home burned down and then the family separated in different places. They're always together, huddled together, hugging each other, and they just are looking at their home burnt, you know, like, and that struck me, like, and I would see guys like high five after having a good fire. You know, as a fireman, you're like, man, that was a good job. That was a good one. That was a burner, dude. Like, you know, because we're kind of like bull riders, you know, we're like, the more violent and terrible it is, but we made it through, it's more fun.
Sure.
But then you look across the street and you see a family huddled together with a blanket over them, and they're looking at their burnt everything they ever had, all their possessions gone. You know, could be pictures of grandma and grandpa, whatever. But they're going to have to persevere through that. They're going to have to stick together and move forward, right?
Right.
So that kind of, I was thinking about all this stuff. So I jumped on. First thing I did was open the Bible, because there's all sorts of stories in the Bible, all sorts of historical, things that happened in the Bible that people persevered. People had resilience. They had to. You know, Job, Jonah. You could go on and on and on about all these people. Daniel in the lion's den. All of the disciples. You know, what they had to go through. And so I found the Billy Graham sermon, which looked like it was edited. So it might have been a few different sermons put together. But still, he was talking about perseverance. And, you know, he the first line that I wrote down here, he said, without purpose, perseverance has no meaning. And that struck a tone with me. And then later on he says, what did he say? True purpose is not self-centered. Purpose and perseverance go hand in hand. So sometimes you have to persevere through something in order to find your purpose. But oftentimes your purpose will help you persevere. And so it's like a back and forth deal. And that brought me back to Man's Search for Meaning, you know, the stories from the concentration camps and how he saw guys give up hope. They had no purpose. Right. They couldn't find their meaning to stay alive, so they would just die. They would just lay down and die. And there were others who had meaning, who had purpose, and they just focused on that. And it helped them persevere all the way through, and they would survive. And that's a great book I recommend for anybody as well, Man's Search for Meaning. It's a long one, but it's very good. Billy Graham, he mentioned Ephesians 6:18. And I was like, okay, I went to the concordance and I looked up perseverance, and there was only one mention in the King James version.
Mm-hmm.
In Ephesians 6:18, let me open it up here. It says, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. So that's talking about prayer and praying for the saints. You know, think about missionaries who are in unwelcome environments right now, that we should be praying for them always. Then, in fact, they depend on our prayers. My pastor a few weeks ago, beginning of first sermon of January, started a prayer challenge. But he called everybody out. If you're not praying for our missionaries that we support, all the missionaries from this church, shame on you in your daily prayer, you know. And I'm guilty. Guilty. And, we tend to focus on our own personal problems, even our perceived pain that we're going through, like we feel like, oh, woe is me, I have it so hard, and all that kind of stuff. So if you focus outward in your prayers, or, looking at other people, you're going to realize that, like Matthew McConaughey said, all those troubling times and all those hardships and never even happened. You're just like, oh, that's really not a big deal.
Right.
And that doesn't mean we don't go through hard times. So you and I both have gone through really hard things.
Yeah. That's what my pity party is all about. I always have this pity party. It lasts a couple days,
Mm-hmm.
but then I pull myself out of it, because really the reality is I'm not a quitter.
Right.
And I'm not going to go quietly into the night.
Exactly.
Just not going to do it. Outside, someone might be looking at me and going, Kevin looks withdrawn, or he doesn't look like he cares.
Yeah.
He's still moving through it. That is absolutely false.
Yeah.
I am still moving forward in some way.
Yeah.
And getting to it. I'm just not going to give up on it.
Well, think of so this brought me to my time as a soldier. Right? And so you have physical and mental things you have to persevere, you have to overcome. Fear, physical pain, long road march, whatever. And that brought me to the Soldier's Creed. And so I looked at the Soldier's Creed again, and I'm trying to think of, why do I have this mindset? I was talking to somebody yesterday about why us veterans we can easily connect with each other. Like very quickly we get together. It's because we were all raised by the same parents, basically, right? We're brothers, sisters, and we all live by a code. We have a creed that we follow. Whether you know it, you're conscious of it or not, you do have a code and a creed that you live by. And when we saw fellow soldiers or other people violating that creed or code, it's repugnant to us. You're a S-bag. You're a SHIT bag, right? You're a traitor. You're a coward. You're whatever. So let me read this real quick, and then we'll get. So I am an American soldier. I am a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills. I will always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself. I am an expert and I am a professional. I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat. I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life. I am an American soldier.
Now, if you took that and just used that one creed, and followed nothing else your entire life, you're going to be a successful man.
I used to tell my soldiers in basic training, and we would wake up in the morning, we would say the Soldier's Creed, right? And I would say, listen to me, soldiers. If you follow this creed, you'll be the Sergeant Major of the Army one day. You'll all be fighting each other at the top for that top spot. You'll be the best soldier in the history of the Army if you could follow this creed.
Yeah, but it's easily translatable onto the civilian side.
Yeah.
Take care of your car. Get your oil changes. Check your tires. Rotate them.
Yep.
If you got something going on in your house, you got a burnt out bulb, change it. Don't ignore it.
Yep.
Simple things.
The basics.
It is. Wow. Master the basics.
But the warrior ethos. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. Those are the warrior ethos that they put right into the creed. And that's what you live by, right? Like the whole battle buddy system in the Army is, hey, soldier, where's your battle buddy right now? And if you can't say he's 10 feet over there taking a leak behind a tree or whatever, you're in serious trouble because you left a man behind. You were late for formation? Where's your battle buddy? Still in bed? You should both be late, or you should be dragging him by a shirt collar out here to get here on time. Either way, you let your buddy down. We call that a blue falcon in the Army. I'm not going to explain it any further beyond that.
Nope. If you know, you know.
Yep.
But it also made me think of the bad side of exactly what you're talking about. If I'm going to go military related, one of the worst things that I can remember as an officer. So going back to recent podcast, do you play to win or do you play not to lose?
Yeah.
And every time when it came to the PT test, I learned after a couple of years as an officer that the PT test is not a measurable item on your evaluations like an NCO.
Oh, well, yeah.
For an officer, it's pass or fail. That's all they look at. They don't look at the details.
Yeah.
So when I started to realize that, when I would do my PT test and I'm doing push-ups, instead of maxing out push-ups doing 75, I knew that from my age group, the minimum was going to be 43. I did 43 in the first 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Took a knee. And then I was done. And, like, what you do that for? Well, I don't need to do any more. I passed.
Yep.
And myself, I'm going, that's all I needed to do. Minimum effort, not maximum effort.
Yeah.
The problem was not being entirely self-aware is everyone else who's taken the PT test around me is watching what I just did.
Right.
And then if the shit hits the fan, is, Lieutenant Spees, Captain Spees, whatever,
is he the bare minimum?
Right. Is he going to take a knee when it gets tough?
Right.
And, that was one of the things that I ended up learning over time. I didn't learn that right away. It took a little bit of time and effort. No one ever told me that. It's just something I learned.
Yeah.
Never got any feedback on that one way or the other.
Yeah. So
that was one of those things where I realized I let myself down.
As an NCO, we're the standard bearers. We set the example for our soldiers to follow based off of our officers, right? So for an NCO, the company commander, your platoon, they set the standard. They set the standard. So a lot of times we would see a lieutenant couldn't keep up with the troops, because we were pretty hardcore dudes. But they would just go do PT on their own. They'd be like, all right, Sergeant First Class, Sergeant, you got it. Take them out for a run. And then the lieutenant would peel off, go run with the company commander or something like that. But even though we didn't see them, I don't know what they were doing. They could have been running 15 miles that day and at a 6-minute mile pace. I don't know. But in our minds, we're like, the officer's going to have coffee.
Sure. Oh, I get it.
But
the flip side is also true. I mean, the other part of me is I don't need to be the fastest guy.
Yeah.
I just need to be faster than the slowest guy. Let the bear get him.
We used to say that when we go out for the night.
Going.
We used to go out and we'd be like, "Hey, we need to take so and so with us."
Yeah,
because he's slow. So if we get in trouble, we could just.
As long as I don't finish last, that's good enough.
Yeah,
that is the wrong way to think.
But also, their effort does play a role. They want really. We just want to see everybody. We want to see you put out maximum effort. Like calling back to our last show, I want to see you putting out maximum effort because you can see it when you see it. Oh, dude, that guy is redlining.
You can easily tell the difference.
But if you see somebody sandbagging, and they are just trying to I really don't feel like putting out today, man, you're gonna get dogged.
But so you mentioned perseverance, and actually, I started with resilience.
Okay.
Because they are different.
They are.
Kind of like how you mentioned perseverance and what was the other thing? That they go hand in hand.
Well, purpose.
Yeah. They go hand in hand. So do resilience and perseverance.
Yes, absolutely.
So I did a little bit of background look on this. resilience is, a general meaning of it is that you're going to spring back. You have the capacity to quickly spring back. You display a little bit of toughness there. Mm-hmm. Perseverance is more like continued effort to do or achieve something in spite of difficulty, failure, and opposition. So perseverance is going to achieve, resilience is going to overcome.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of like the danger zone, because if you try to persevere without having resilience, mm-hmm. you're going to get tunnel vision. And you're going to be so locked in to that purpose, your mindset. I got to accomplish that tree right there. I got to cut that tree down no matter what. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And you persevere. But then you're lacking resilience because if the tree decides to fall over after your first hit, well, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
So it's, perseverance is about achievement. Resilience is about overcoming.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. My buddy was in Special Forces selection, and he was an old man to be going through selection, and this was his second time. So he'd already been through once, got selected, and at that time in history, you would go back to your unit and wait for your date to go to the Q course. So he went back to the unit, ended up getting a helicopter crash, and injured his back, and he missed his date to go for the Q course. So life went on. He had that itch, and he went and re-enlisted in the Army, got back in, and decided he wanted to go to selection again. And you have a 25-mile road march. They do different distances throughout the selection process, but this was and they don't tell you how long your road. They just say, this is the start line. You're going to be timed. This is a timed event. Go. You don't know how far you're going. Ended up being the 25-miler. So he's the last. There's two guys left. Him and one other dude are the last ones to make it to the truck. And they get to the truck, and the evaluator's standing there. He said, "Hey, you two guys, you're the last two. You need to turn around and go back to the start line." And he said the guy standing next to him dropped his rucksack. "F that, man, I'm not doing that shit again." Cussing, and there ain't no way in hell. And my buddy just turned around and started walking away. He's like, "I'm going to get there eventually." I'm not quitting. I am not going to quit. And he made that decision before he even showed up for selection. I don't care what they do. I'm not going to quit. I'd rather die. And he went about 4 or 5 steps, and the guy said, "Oh, stop. Get on the truck. You pick up your ruck, go on that truck." And he ended up getting selected.
Well, see, that's a great segue because perseverance is action-oriented.
Yeah.
So he persevered in his road march, made it to the end. Even though he was one of the last two.
Right.
He made it to the end. And then resilience is response-oriented.
Yep.
So he was told, turn around and go back. And so he could have quit, but he responded because he wanted to be better.
In his brain, in his heart, there's no choice.
Yep.
I'm going to turn around and do 25 more miles. Eventually, I'm going to get there, or I'm going to die trying.
Yeah. And see, that it extends into one more step. Perseverance requires determination.
Yeah.
Resilience requires adaptability. So you have to be open to change or things that are going to happen.
Yeah, and these are all attributes that you should have as a man, right? And they're going to be waxing and waning throughout your life. None of these are steady. We're all going to have moments where where we just don't cut, we're like, dude, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And you're going to question, your resilience.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I could see that in my dad when he was, reaching the end. Uh-huh. There was a point before then where he could have easily said, I'm not giving up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything I can to be on this earth longer.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He gave up. And as soon as he gave up and said, I'm not going to live past the age of 65, I just know it because everybody in my family died before age 65.
Yeah, that self-fulfilling prophecy.
He knew it.
Yeah.
So he didn't try to get past that. He just went his way. And that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
Passed away shortly after he turned 66.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing. I've seen the bad side.
Yeah, it definitely goes both ways. And we all of us, whether you want to admit it or not, have a hero inside, and you also have a coward inside.
Yeah.
And they're fighting to see who can be in control.
Yeah. One of my favorites little transitions here is persistence, or perseverance is success through persistence. Mm-hmm. But resilience is growth through adversity. And this led me into the book of James out of the Bible.
Okay.
Chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And then he expands on it a little bit, but then it goes on to verse 12. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial. That's being resilient.
Yeah.
Because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him.
That makes me think, like, Paul was writing a lot of these from prison, wasn't he?
This is
letters?
James.
James. Okay. But Paul wrote a lot of letters about that as well, while he was literally chained up in a dungeon and, sending letters out. And this is another thing that Billy Graham wrote. He said purpose gave Paul perspective. It clarified his path, gave him a compass. Purpose is often defined while persevering, and it's not self-centered. So he didn't write letters about his own. He did mention, like, even though I'm in prison, I still pray for you, this whole church there. My thoughts are on you, not on me, because he knew I'm going to heaven. I'm going to be with the Lord, and to die is to gain. So I'm okay. I guess I'm just here to help you, pass this on to you. And,
very similar. I mean, that just right in my mind. As soon as you said that, I thought about the chaplain or the pastor or the priest. I forget who he was exactly. When the Titanic was sinking, and he has a life vest, and he's in the water.
Yeah.
And there's a guy next to him without it, and he asked him if he knew Jesus, and he didn't.
So he gave him his life.
He gave him his life vest, and then he went under.
Like, dude, you need to stay here until you meet Jesus. Jesus.
And I thought that, what an amazing piece of self-sacrifice.
Oh, bro. I pray I'd be that strong in that kind of moment. I hope I could be.
Yeah.
Dang. The very last word I wrote down here on my notes, I just wrote one word: grit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think grit encompasses all of the stuff we've been talking about.
And it's hard to define.
It is hard to define.
People say grit in all kinds of ways.
Tough, strong.
Yeah, think of John Wayne.
Yeah, even though, my hero, Sergeant Major Basil Plumley, has a certain term for John Wayne.
Yeah, I've seen your cat around here.
But grit. So what does grit mean to you, Kevin? Because it's very subjective, right? It means different things to different people. If you looked at a man and said, that dude has grit.
Sand is in the wrong places. That's what it means. It's almost like akin to being it's an old term, the mensch kind of deal. It's a man who he knows who he is.
Yeah.
And he knows his borders.
Yeah.
And he continues along that path. You mentioned it yesterday. You have a moral code or a code of ethics that you adhere to all the time.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens at work, regardless of what happens in your personal life, you adhere to that. And if it's going to be something that comes your way that is going to challenge your code or your own personal set of ethics, you are willing to say no and take the consequences.
Yeah.
But you are not going to waver.
Right.
To me, that's someone who's got grit. That's a good example of that. Is you are who you are, and you also know your limits, but you know that when it's time to be a risk taker, you're going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I would agree with that assessment. I feel the same way. A man who knows what he knows what he doesn't know, has their lines in the sand. Like, this is it, dude. I'm not crossing this. And I don't care what you say or do to me. I have to be able to live with myself or die like a man.
Yeah.
That's it.
See, I have a unique experience because, again, everybody knows. I've said it so many times. As a kid growing up, I had nothing but sisters and a mom, and then I had my dad.
Those are some of the toughest boys you'll ever meet that grow up with sisters.
And then, as a husband, I have a wife, and I have nothing but daughters and one son. Well, my son has been gone for a little over 2 years now.
Yeah.
well, 6 years, Marine Corps, doing his thing. So I'm in a house of women. Well, I can't take this definition of grit and apply it to my household. There's a limit there. So I have to learn how to bend.
Well,
I have to be flexible.
With women too. Women have a totally different type of toughness to them.
Well, yeah,
a
they
different
do.
type of resilience.
But I'm
to
talking
them.
about the man side.
But the masculine grit of, like, there's a bump in the night out in the dark in the backyard.
Well, I'm up.
Guess who's going out there to see what is going on?
The doorbell rings at 7 in the evening.
Yeah.
Everybody just sits in the living room. Not just me. They're waiting for it to go.
They're probably
answer
all
it.
looking at you.
They do.
They all look at, like, you can do something about this, Dad?
Right. They still do. But so I have to be very adaptable.
Okay.
And that's the resilience.
Yeah.
So I can't be myself. Like if I'm out with hanging out guys, there is no way I can be that in my own house.
Oh, dude, this is what I struggle with this so hard.
So I have to, and I've gotten pretty good at it. I just have to blend in.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you got to be one of the girls.
Not that far. I'm not dressing like them.
But you have to soften your hard edges.
I might
Right?
steal their shampoo.
I have no need for that. But,
I smell good.
right.
But
you have to kind of.
I have to soften the hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I've
Watch
said that
your
about my
tongue.
wife many times over the years, and we've been together for almost 33 years.
Yeah.
My wife softens my edges.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It's my whole family. All my girls, they soften my edges.
Yeah.
And they know. They know the limits and the border.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cross here. Let Dad have his space.
Yeah.
There's times.
Yeah.
And don't push it. And then they know.
That's what women do. They want to test their.
And they all do.
Yeah.
They all try it. But, so it's a unique experience because the way I live at home, I take that with me when I go to work or I'm in other places. So in many cases, I tend to be mellow,
Sure.
kind of calm, not evil,
Even?
even-keeled,
Freudian slip.
kind of stoic
Sure.
in a way. But there are many times where inside me, I'm going, ugh.
Yeah.
I just want to give me a bag to punch on.
Do you think that as a veteran, especially, people expect a certain reaction out of you in certain situations? Like I know people have hired, like in the job market, people see on my resume, oh, he was a drill sergeant. He's going to be a hard ass. He's going to crack the whip and he's going to be tough on these dudes. And I show up and I'm like,
I've only seen the negative side. The impression is, oh, you're a veteran. Oh, you're not going to be able to adapt to this.
yeah, okay.
And so you have to prove those people wrong.
That you're not just a monkey with a baseball bat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because they see Full Metal Jacket and they think everybody's a psychopath, and
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
But, I kind of think of, you mentioned Rocky a little while ago.
Yeah,
And I actually had a note about this because it was one of the things that came to my head because, you can't have persistence by itself. It can't be by itself.
no, you have to have purpose with it. You have
Right,
to.
because you're locked in. So you got to have resilience because when you have resilience, it allows you, in the words of Apollo Creed, to stick and move. Stick and move. Because you can't just stand there. If you just stand there, you're going to get whacked.
Right.
So,
This man will kill you, Rock.
right. So get in your hit and then step out of the way. Get in your hit, step out of the way. But keep moving forward. Accomplish that goal.
Float
Keep going.
like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Yeah, there you go, Muhammad. But, drift to the left, drift to the right, but you're always still straight ahead and you're trying to get whatever it is you're trying to achieve.
The Army really instills this in soldiers. And if you're a leader listening to this in the military right now, you should understand that you have your mission. The mission is the mission. You have to accomplish the mission, right? Mm-hmm. How you get from point A to point B can be any which way as long as you're playing within the rules of war, like the law, you're not committing war crimes. You need to be adaptable. You need to be, the terrain dictates how you're going to move. The enemy has a say. Like all this sort of stuff, you need to keep in mind. And when you leave the military, if you keep that same adaptable mindset, that asymmetric mind of like, this is my mission. Sometimes I need to step back. Sometimes I'm going to go forward. Sometimes I'm going to be aggressive. Sometimes I'm going to sneak. You know, all those type of different tactics that you could use on a physical field. If you take that with you into the workforce, or how you lead your family even, you could really use those skills to your advantage. You just have to keep an open mind, keep your eyes open, situational awareness, you know, keep your head on the swivel, you say, and rely on your battle buddies too, man. You can't do it by yourself.
Sure.
And stay focused on the mission. Be resilient.
Right.
You have your mind on the mission.
You have to know what you're doing.
Yes.
Right. What is the why?
What are we doing here?
The why is important. You know, for instance, if I'm going to get a new job, let's say I get a new job and I'm in there and it's a week goes by, and I say to myself, "Oh man, this is so much hard work. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I had no idea." You know, am I going to quit tomorrow?
Yeah. Wah, wah. That's
Right.
what I would say.
No, don't quit. Adapt to the environment, learn it, do the best you can.
Yeah. Stuff changes. What are the first two paragraphs of the operations order? Situation and mission. So when you break it down, here's the situation and here is our mission. Everything else after that supports the first two, the number two, the mission.
Even in short term, why'd you get the job? Did you get the job because you need the money, or was it more money? Okay, fine. So after a week, you're going to quit because it's too hard?
Yeah.
I thought you needed the money.
Right.
So why don't you stay there, do a good job, and then branch out and see what else might be out there. But try to do something.
You know the fake it till you make it? Do you believe in that?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used it myself in cases, but it's more socially than actually towards something.
If I have to go to a party with a bunch of people, I'm going to fake like I want to be there until I make it to the door and I'm going home.
Right. Unless there's a specific requirement for, you know, output or productivity, or having a result based on something I've been given as a task or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't fake it.
No.
Because it's going to come out.
But you can learn and adapt and overcome. That's not faking it. That's saying, oh, that you want me to accomplish this? I'm your man. I can do that.
Yeah.
Then you go in your office and you sweat a little bit. You're like, ooh,
you figure it out.
This is going to be a tough hill to climb, and you figure it out and do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That could be resilience, perseverance. You know, these are all. But you have a purpose. You have a mission. Right.
So overall, I mean, I would actually consider perseverance and resilience to be two of the descriptors of me. Mm-hmm. I think they're very prominent in my life. I have plenty of experiences where I persevered over time. You know, again, you mentioned the cancer.
Yeah.
I still fight it. Yeah. You know, I still get cancer every now and then, and I'm still always doing what I can to prevent it.
Yeah, it's like every day you're doing something.
But I am not going to quit.
Yeah.
I am not going to give up. I am not going to do that, because I have family, and I love them. I have friends. I love them too. And you know what? God has a purpose for me.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm here on this earth, I'm going to do whatever I can, and figure out what that purpose is.
Yeah.
And keep going. And that's why, you know, I like perseverance, because it's very admirable. But I think resilience, for me, is more invaluable, because it allows me to adapt. I face challenges, and I always have a better chance at success and peace of mind when I do that. Because if I'm just doing perseverance is like, oh, you know, I'm the David Goggins.
You're like, I'm gonna make it one day.
Yeah,
I'm gonna live through this.
Well, I'm not Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just kind of how it is. And you know, for me, it's a difference between struggle and triumph. And I'm going to do whatever I can to triumph in the struggle. There's no such thing as getting a free ride, having a safe place, and forever. No. Because the people that really come out on top are the ones that struggled the most. Yeah, this is why, and this may come off as judgmental, and it's not judgmental. When I meet somebody who's my age,
and they're a Christian, and they say, "Oh, I've been a Christian since I was 5 years old, and I gave my life to Jesus when I was in grade school." It's not for me to judge their salvation and say that's true or not true, but it's very hard for me to relate to somebody who did not go through some sort of existential crisis or have times where they needed to persevere and be resilient or show grit. Like, the amount of grit you have to have in order to recognize that you need a savior. Like, yeah, dude, I cannot work my way into heaven, and I cannot work away my sins, and I need a savior. That, to me, that is one of the most impactful things. When a man tells me that, I'm like, dude, that's amazing to me, and that doesn't mean I'm not trying to say I'm amazing. Like, I don't want this to look like I'm bragging on myself. It's hard for me to relate to people who have gone through life like, everything's great. I've never had a problem in my life. I've been a Christian since I was 5. I love Jesus, and I'm like,
tiptoeing through the tulips.
I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I'm super happy for you, and I love you. We're brothers in Christ, but you can't come hang out at my house because we don't have anything in common.
Don't you have a story to tell?
Right. And everybody does, dude.
Everybody.
And I was like, you're either lying to me or you're lying to yourself, or both. That's kind of how and that might be my jaded point of view, where I'm coming from, maybe.
Well, that could be a good self-challenge for anybody who's listening is, do you have a story to tell?
Yeah.
What is that story? Why don't you write it out? And then you read it and then ask yourself, is this me? Is this the me that I would want to be, or is this the me that I'd like to be?
Yeah. And
you might need to rewrite your story.
It's a little silly to bring Joe Rogan into a spiritual conversation, but he used to always say, like, imagine
He's
somebody
learning that way.
He is. Praise God. Keep working. He would say, imagine somebody's making a movie about your life and you're going to be the hero of that story. Like, imagine somebody's going to film, like, we're going to film your life and you're the hero. You're the man in this story. You're the man so who do you want to be? Which character you want to play? You want to be the hero, right? You want to be Rocky. You want to be whoever, the hero of your story. That's a very relative statement. A hero to me is definitely different than somebody else. But
you're all right.
I was burping, man.
A lot.
Yeah, this dang cough syrup getting to me. So I would say, like in the fire service, all I ever wanted out of my time in the fire service is to be considered a fireman. And when you remember we had my buddy Kenny on, I asked him, what's the difference between a firefighter and a fireman? There's a big difference. Firefighter is somebody who you're on the job, you got the t-shirt, you do, you wash the truck and you know all the nerd stuff. A fireman is somebody that has the hose line right behind you. When you grab the nozzle, that guy is right behind you going into hell. Or he's going to be fighting you for the nozzle, and they're going to get the job done. It's not always pretty. They're not the calendar model, they might have a gut, whatever, but that dude is reliable.
Yeah, think about the fire crew. You have something like that happening. You're responding to a call, mm-hmm. and you're doing all your stuff, and you're in the middle of something hot, and you're relying on someone else to step in and help out.
Yeah.
Except the 3 guys who are with you, they're all standing there with their cell phones filming you.
Yep. I've seen officers get off the truck and fumble with their SCBA mask on purpose so they didn't have to go into a house that's burning. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm like, dude, you're an officer. What in the hell is going on here? And I've seen dudes run up and snatch the hose line out of somebody's hand because they hesitated at the door. Or
you've got to ask yourself why they hesitate, because it could be anything. It could be Was it their first time?
Yeah.
No, I'm speculating. I wasn't there.
Sure.
It could be their first time, a little bit of shock. They did it too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Like General Savage.
Yeah.
It could be that they realized this isn't for me, and I can't do this.
Oh yeah.
Training was one thing.
Yep.
Real life is different.
We've had guys quit on the job.
Yep.
Where they're like, I can't do this. I'm done.
But I mentioned the cell phone thing because there was a decent story in which someone rushed TSA at an airport this week.
Yeah.
And someone who just happened to be standing there saw what was going on, knocked over a TSA agent trying to rush a gate, and someone else was trying to get him, and he just stepped out and tackled the guy.
Yeah.
You know what? And they brought him to justice, and he just got back in line. And it was like,
Whatever, dude.
I'm going to step in and do my thing. He didn't got a cell phone.
That's what a man does.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't get a cell phone and film it.
Yeah.
And try and be some kind of night, whatever. Get in it.
Do it, man.
Be the man in the arena, like Teddy Roosevelt said.
You know what? You're probably going to be scared to death when that time comes. You're going to be scared to death, and you're going to have a decision to make. Am I going to be the hero, or am I going to be the coward? One of the two. And if you just make the decision and take one step forward towards the hero line, I promise you're going to go all the way, and you're going to do what has to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I have personal experience where you just do it. You just respond.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of how my brain is wired over time.
Sure.
And I just respond to something. It's not until after that I get the chills.
Oh, dude.
And,
that happened all the time. I'd be laying in bed
get all spongy.
After a fire. We'd have to go back and shower, and we get back in bed. And, dude, I was wide awake, just staring at the ceiling like, what in the hell did I just do? Mm-hmm. What did I do? Dude, I could have died 10 times. What is wrong with you? And that all these thoughts come. But in the moment, it was laser focus on the mission.
Then you go to sleep, and you wake up, and you start over again.
Yeah, then I'm eating breakfast around other dudes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a salty fireman.
The salty dog.
Yeah. But you know what? Like my time in the Army, and the number one fear I had, the number one fear I carried was I was always afraid of my brothers to my left and right looking at me like I was a coward. I would be scared to death. Like when I was in airborne school, I'm getting ready to jump out of a plane. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm definitely going to die. And it's going to be horrific. It's going to be a fall, and I'm going to know I'm falling the whole entire way, and I'm going to hit the ground. And all these crazy thoughts go through your head, but I'll be damned if I don't jump out of this plane.
And it's, I just read a book called Waterloo, Day of Battle, and talked about the French and the English fighting each other in this big battle in 1820.
Yeah. Like
something like that.
The very definition of horrific.
Yeah, because here they all start standing shoulder to shoulder, tight lines, and the artillery goes off, and you were considered a coward if you see the black ball of the artillery coming toward you, and you flinch to the left, dodge to the right, or you duck, or you see the steel ball rolling across the ground.
It's going to take your legs off.
Yeah. You were considered a coward if you moved in any such way, and just there goes your head.
Ridiculous. We showed how ridiculous that was during the American Revolution.
Yeah,
and but
I mean that's
men. When men get together, we have a certain set of rules.
Those were the times.
We decide these are the rules. This is it. And if you don't follow these rules, you're not a man.
Right.
And some of that is. It gets silly, like you said, like don't move out of the way of a cannonball coming at your face.
Well,
like, what are we doing here, guys?
I'm reading a bunch of essays from a guy named Montaigne from the 1400s. And his latest essay that I finished reading, the essay of prognostications, is what it was. He said, he will be master of himself and happy who can say each day, I have lived.
Yes. Yeah, man. And that's not specific right there.
No.
If you can, it's a personal thing. Yes, I have lived a life. I've lived. I've done it. I've lived. The problem is, like, have you lived it way too soon and now you got a whole bunch of life left to go? You know, which I ran into. Like, I finished my bucket list when I was like 32. And I was like, damn. I was like in a deep depression because I was like, well, I guess this is it. I'm just going to sit around for another 50 years.
Or you're completely misled and you don't know what it is to live.
Yes, exactly.
Do you think sitting on the chair down in the basement playing Call of Duty all day and you happen to win and you get to bounce while you're shooting?
That's not living,
That's not
dude.
living in any way, man. No way. I tell you what, put a real rifle in your hands, let somebody shoot and see you jump up and down.
Dude. Yeah, go stand on the DMZ across from a 3 million man army. You're going to really love being back in the States and going on a hike.
Yep. Take a big swig of bourbon and see if you can keep a straight face.
Only if you're of age and you're not driving. We should put that in there so Facebook doesn't pull us again.
Right.
One last thing I want to talk about is very, very personal. This is why I was getting emotional about it.
The last thing? Okay.
Well, not the last thing.
Go ahead.
This is going to be the last, obviously we'll keep talking.
Yeah, we'll see.
We did a podcast where I talked about my story and struggles that I went through and, the highs and lows and all that sort of stuff. But I left out, like the specifics. I don't know if I mentioned, man, but there was a time when I was going through my separation and divorce from my first wife, and I'm sitting in my house and I'm laid off. I got laid off from work, going through a divorce. I'm going to be a single dad with 2 kids, got a mortgage and bills and debt and all this sort of stuff that I'm going through. And at the time I thought, this is the only woman I would love for the rest of my life and all this kind of stuff. And I was betrayed. She cheated on me. And then she abandoned us. And I was sitting on the edge of my bed with a pistol in my hand. And I was going to put it in my mouth and pull the trigger, man. And I'm a very rational thinker. So I'm thinking through the whole process. Like, okay, this is what the muzzle of this pistol is going to feel like in my mouth. And I hope I don't bump my teeth as I'm putting it in, because that's going to be annoying. I don't want to do that. So I need to turn it sideways. And I'm going through all these details. And then I say, okay, I'm not going to feel anything. I won't hear anything. And it'll just be over real quick and it'll be done. Then what? Then my kids are going to come home from school. They ride the bus home. And they're going to let themselves in the house, and they're going to find my dead body on my bed with my brains all over the wall and a big giant pool of blood. And I would have let them down more than anybody else on the face of this earth. Not only that, I would traumatize them for the rest of their lives. And then what? Then how are these young boys going to grow up to be men without their father? And the whole time I'm sitting there, man, I have my pistol in my hand, loaded, and I'm sitting there. Like, I could take the easy way out, the coward's way out. In my mind, that's what I thought. And I could have easily done it. And I knew the years that I have ahead of me are going to be so hard. I'm just going to, like, I might lose my house. I might, have my car repoed, and what? I'm going to be walking to the grocery store to work or whatever, as if that's something to look down upon. Some people like that. That's an honorable thing for that people go to work at a grocery store. But I had this pride and this ego and this like pity party, like you were saying, and I'm blaming myself. It's my fault that she cheated. It's my fault that she abandoned us. It's my fault. All this stuff happened. And, I hadn't been out of the military for that long, and I was feeling lost. Like, what am I doing with my life? My whole life has been service up to that time. And so I locked my pistol at that point. When I thought about my children and all that, I locked my pistol up in the safe. It had a key to it. I swallowed my pride. I called my soon-to-be ex-wife, because she's the only one that came to mind to call. And I said, you need to come over here right now and take these keys from me to this safe. And she did. Thank God. She did. She came, took the keys, and left. And that was a moment where I was like, you know, I'm a father. I'm a man. This is like the responsibility, the weight of that was fighting against the easy way out. And I've heard it explained before that people who commit suicide, they're like people trapped in a burning building, and they have to decide between burning to death or jumping. And a lot of people choose to jump. But man, I don't think that's true at all. Because I've been there. I've been through it. It's not. You're not in a burning building. There's no impending doom. That's in your head. That's either the enemy attacking you, meaning Satan, or you're putting other things inside of your head that are not real. And unfortunately, a lot of men, a lot of veterans especially, check out at that moment. They think, oh, I'm in a burning building and I have to jump. And I hope and pray that 22 a day stat of veterans, or, you know, we have definitely way more men commit suicide than women. I pray that number will go down dramatically, and that people will realize that there is something greater at play here than our problems here on this earth. I don't know really what else I want to say about that, but when this perseverance and resilience and grit, you know, topic came about when you mentioned it, this situation immediately popped in the head, because I'm very proud of myself for the decision I made that day. That I chose the hard path. I chose to shoulder my pack, to pick up my cross, to whatever you want to say, and take that road, the long road that I knew was going to be hard, that there's going to be other times where I stumble and fall. And really looking back now, I wish I would have prayed to Jesus. I wish I would have prayed in that moment. I really wish I would have. And I wish I would have given my life to Christ fully then. And, you know, I didn't. I chose the hard road, man. That was like, I thought life was rough then. Then I got hard. I got a really hard heart and went down a road that was not healthy, not productive, and took a long time for me to come back out of that, man.
And through it all, you persevered.
Yes.
And you were resilient.
Yeah.
Because you kept getting better.
Yeah.
And here you are today.
And I had a mission, man.
Right.
I had a goal in mind. I had a mission. And now I got a new mission. And that's the thing with guys, like men especially, you have to have a mission in life. You have to have a goal. If you don't have a target that you're aiming at, you're just going to wander off into the wilderness. Mm-hmm. You have to, whatever analogy, like we used a bunch, an azimuth, check your azimuth. You know, I'm going here. And going from point A to point B, the terrain is going to dictate. You might have to go around a mountain. You might have to go over a mountain. You might have to burrow through the mountain. But stay focused on the mission and just keep going no matter what. Just keep going.
Right.
That's it, dude. That's grit.
Amazing story. It's amazing. I mean, it's, again, following up on what we said. What's your story?
Yeah.
And you have a story, and you have a foundation you can build off of to where you're at today.
Yeah.
And you have a memory that you can go back and be able to explain to someone who might be in a certain situation today that could be similar.
Yeah.
And you're going to lift them up and bring them with you.
Dude, sometimes you just got to put your hand up and be like, I need help.
Yep.
And if it's us, If you want to reach out to us, you can. Call somebody, call an old battle buddy.
So many guys are afraid to ask for help.
Dude, that's one of the most manly things you can do.
Right.
Is you know yourself, and you're like,
you don't do
I
things
can't
alone.
I can't do this, and I need help.
Right.
That's manly.
For all of us veterans who are listening, the easiest thing you can do right now is you can reach out to the Veterans Crisis Line.
Yes.
All you have to do on your cell phone is dial 988 and then press 1.
Yep.
You have to memorize some phone number, dial 988, press 1, and then let them take it from there.
Right.
On a good note,
Yep.
You mentioned, what am I going to do? You know, my kids are going to come home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your impact on your family. Read an article this morning that a new study came out. It's a decades-long study that was finally released. And it turns out that the relationship we as parents, father, or mother, but father, mother, based on your relationship with your children as they're growing up into their teenage years, if you maintain a close relationship with them, and by close, I'm not saying, oh, you're all lovey-dovey. What I'm talking about is you're doing things together, or you might play games, or you might see a movie. You are somehow engaged in what they're doing with their school. You're not off-putting. You're not being segregated away from them, but you're part of the family. And even on those days where you get the kids together, even into their teen years, and saying, hey, we're all going to go have a picnic for Mother's Day today.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to do that. I got plans. And nope, we're all
I don't
going.
care. Get in the truck.
Right. We're all going together. Those kids into adulthood, and they followed these kids for 20 years, going up into up to 40 years old.
Yeah.
Their social experience and social life and their acquaintances and friendships with others are stronger and more vibrant than those whose parents they weren't invested in early on.
Yeah. You're a good example of this because, like, just this past Christmas, you guys packed the car up and went Christmas tree shopping together. And I was there because you needed my little bitty truck that you like to make fun of to haul your Christmas tree. But every one of your daughters and your wife, they were so happy to be there. And they were involved in the process. They had their opinions about which tree to pick. And I was just standing back in the back and smiling. Like, this is amazing. Like, this is great. I love seeing this. I hope my family, when my young children grow up, that we're like this. That I'm like, hey, kids, all right, that's enough. We spend enough time together. Give me my alone time. Right. You know, because we spend so much, like, they just want to be with us all the time.
Exactly.
Which is great.
I mean, that's kind of the things that we talk about now. You know, Gail and I will get together and we're going to have, you know, a budget meeting or something. And we'll go in our bedroom. Next thing we know, you know, we'll be 15 minutes into it. Knock, knock, knock. One of the kids walks in. Oh, I just wanted to, you know, ask you a question. And as they're talking, they kind of morph onto the bed. Next thing you know, here comes another one. Hey, what's going on? And ploop, on the bed. All of a sudden, they're all here. And I'm going, all right, Gail. And then, you know what? But I love it.
We did a budget meeting last night, and we were doing our grocery lists and all that sort of stuff. And Emma comes walking up and said, pick up. So I picked her up. At first, though, I was like, no, go watch your cartoons. We're doing something important here. And then I'm like, hey, dummy, that's important. So I pick her up, put her on my lap. And I'm a little frustrated because she's like trying to hit the keys on the laptop and playing, you know, whatever, smacking my face or something, wanting to do tickle fight. And I'm like, I'm trying to do the budget, you know. And so those are good things to keep in mind that I need to remind myself of. It's like, one day I'm going to be sitting here doing the budget and I'm going to be like, man, I wish Emma would sit on my lap right now, bugging me and picking my nose and doing all sorts of stupid stuff because, you know, she might be out doing who knows what. But I would love that. I would love it and hate it at the same time. Like, I'm in my bedroom, get out. But then, you know, one day you're going to miss it.
One of my favorite things is when I would come home from work and all the kids would hear the front door open. Yeah. And they all want to take turns. Oh, I'm going to cry. Oh, gosh. They all take turns and they want to run and jump up because
Yeah.
they want me to pick them up
Uh-huh.
and give them the big hug, welcome home.
Yeah.
And they would take turns doing it.
Uh-huh.
And then it got all the way up to they're so big I can't even pick them up anymore. But they still want to do it.
Yeah.
And you know what?
There's nothing better, man.
No.
There's nothing better.
Love those moments.
I came home from in quotes, deployment one time. I was a reservist, got mobilized, and but it was stateside as a drill sergeant. And I was gone for 3 months, man. And I remember pulling up in the driveway, and the front door was open. We had a storm door, and I closed the door to my car, and I walk around, and I got my bag on my shoulder, and I see my son Tim banging on the storm door. Daddy's home. Daddy's home. He was, like so excited to see me. It's the greatest thing in the world that you will ever experience. And every day I come home from work, Emma's, Daddy, and she comes running and give her hugs and kisses. The dog's jumping on me, kiss my wife. Like, there's nothing better in the world. And when I see guys who are not going, like, seeking their wife, single dudes who are out there trying to do the right thing and find a wife and get married and have kids, I'm like, bro, you're missing a gold mine. Like, you're sitting on a gold mine and you're refusing to dig. Like, what the hell?
Right.
Or,
you know what? Don't be a baby daddy.
No.
Be a father. Bro. You are so missing out if you're not invested into your children.
Dude.
At all ages.
Dude, I swear, man. Yeah, I don't want to turn this into a 3-hour podcast talking about my divorce. And, the thing that scared me the most was being a every other weekend dad. I was like, there's no way in hell. There is no way in hell. I swear, like, they're going to have to send the National Guard to come get me. Mm-hmm. There's no way. And I went full on fight like this is war. I'm going to protect my children. And so many guys give up too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They're not resilient. They don't persevere. They don't have grit. It's in them. It's there. They just chose guys choose the easy path.
They can't get it out.
It's in there, man. You just have to make the decision. I'm not going to quit.
Right.
That's it. It's that simple. It's really that simple. I'm not going to quit.
You're either going to keep your ruck on your shoulders and you're going to turn around and keep walking.
Yep.
Or you're just going to drop the ruck off your shoulder and lay on the ground.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Take the path least traveled, right? The path least traveled.
Mm-hmm.
Take the hard road. It's worth it. And you'll have a story to tell.
Yeah.
You'll be a grandpa one day, and all your grandkids sitting around at your feet. You're sipping your bourbon, smoking a cigar. They'll be like, dang, Grandpa's a savage. Look at it. That dude done some stuff. I want to do that one day. I want to be like Grandpa.
Yep. Looking at old pictures.
Yeah.
Grandpa, can you tell me what this is? What were you doing right there?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's an M9 bayonet, son. Let me tell you what it does to a man.
Let me tell you the sound it makes when it goes in you.
Let me tell you what makes the green grass grow.
Anyway, so we've been doing this Oak and Eden bourbon.
Oak and Eden.
It's not even a bourbon. It's a finished whiskey.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on it?
I'm torn. I'm
torn with the corn.
I'm a regular bourbon dude, man. I like Evan Williams. I like Jim Beam.
Yeah.
I like bourbon to taste like bourbon. But also, I'm enjoying this. I don't know if it's because we're on day 31 of dryish January, and I've only had...
I finished my dry January yesterday. Sorry.
So maybe, my palate is changing. I don't know. This is very interesting to me.
I want to pull the stave out of there, but we haven't gone down far enough in the bottle.
But there's something about this that feels a little hokey. A little like they did some tricks to
it's the spire.
Yeah.
So like I said, they took that 5-inch spire, which I think it's measured by a woman, not a man.
Yeah, that's not.
They took that thing.
It looks pretty big to me, man.
They dipped it in wine for 4 to 8 months,
Uh-huh.
and then they took it out and chucked it in the bottle.
And it's a French oak that they soaked in Cabernet for 6 to 8 months.
So you're not only are you getting whatever might have been soaked into the wood, but you're getting the actual wine in there.
Literal wine in this.
And as wine ages over time, I think, again, that's what's happened here is that little spire that they call it continued to age this bourbon whiskey over time.
Yeah, finished whiskey.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. It's something different.
Yep.
So I gave it 3 stars because of that. Not because I'm particularly like, oh, I'm going to go buy another bottle of this. And I this is my favorite. You know, like Maker's Mark is kind of basic and interesting. Some of their, and I was like, dude, I wish I could buy another bottle of that because it was interesting in a good way that I want to invest some money in.
Right.
This is not that, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm going to give it 3 stars based off the enjoyment and the conversation today.
Yeah.
Not off of the technical proficiency of making this whiskey.
Yeah, not actually paying attention to what I had it because it's one, again, I said I had it for about 4 years.
It's very
wouldn't mind trying one that actually was pulled off the shelf that just got recently bottled.
Yeah, I would too.
To see it. But it reminded me too much of 2 previous ones that we drank, and they were the Agitator and Legion.
Which both, I think we said, were a little artificial tasting.
And unfortunately, it reminds me too much of that. The tannin and that corn sour
aftertaste, yeah.
Whatever that is that keeps lingering back to it is pushed me down to the 1 star.
1 star?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like the Spire concept and stuff like that. Again, I think, like you said, it's a marketing gimmick.
It's a little hokey, yeah. But we've had hokey whiskeys before that were disgusting.
Yeah.
Blackened.
Yeah. This isn't disgusting.
No, it's not. It has a very interesting flavor profile. The raisins, the port, then those are not bad tasting. It doesn't taste like, gross, like a jockstrap.
Yeah, but if I'm going to be true to myself on my personal bourbon profile and the way I would rate, I'm going to keep it at 1.
And honestly, if this was sitting on the shelf, brand new, and I would pass right by it because I'd be like, oh no, I'm not buying a bottle with a hunk of wood stuck in it.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason I would buy it again is I would just want to try it after not sitting on the shelf for 4 years and see if it aged different or the taste profile is all different.
Yeah, I'm not a gimmick guy, and I'm kind of regretting my 3 stars, but I'm not going to go back on it because I have integrity.
There you go.
It is what it is.
I'm a heart grader. I've been told that by former bosses.
You are. Yeah, you are. And our, if we go back through our book, proves it, and we compare, I tend to give a little bit more grace to like, man, it was a good try, so I'm going to give you an extra star. I appreciate the effort.
Yep. But you know what? We've had a great discussion today.
Yeah.
One that really got put together within an hour of the show, so
maybe that's what we should do from now on.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. We'll see. I think we have some guests lined up. I don't want to put their names out there yet because they bailed on us, or actually, they didn't bail on us. It was kind of last minute that we tried to line them up for today.
Yeah,
that's all right. They had other stuff going on, but we're gonna try to get them on in the coming weeks. And if you want to be a guest, you're more than welcome to join us. If you have a story to tell, if you have grit and you want to talk about it, we would love to hear it, man.
Yeah, we'll challenge you on your grit.
Yeah, you have to do 100 burpees before you are allowed in the studio.
We want to see how fast you can pull a pistol out of a holster.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
And hit your target.
And hit, yep. You can email us at showmemk, MK as in Mike, Kilo, or Matt and Kevin. Would be more. showmemk@gmail.com. Have we gotten any emails from our listeners yet?
Negatory.
We're a bunch of losers.
I ain't worried about it.
Especially if you're from outside of Missouri. I want to hear from you. We want to know where you're coming from. I want to hear your perspective, see if what we're talking about, what connects with you. And we haven't picked up any new countries yet, have we? I think Taiwan was the last one, right?
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
Taiwan or Thailand, I forget.
I think it was Taiwan.
Taiwan, yeah.
We would love to hear from you. You can connect through the social media network that we're not going to name anymore. Are we back on?
Oh, we're on.
Okay, Facebook.
They apologized.
Did they? Good.
Yeah.
Apology accepted. Until next time. You can get us on Facebook and YouTube at the Headspace and Tasting Podcast.
Yep. Speaking of Facebook, a full 67% of our listeners who listen to us through Facebook are non-followers.
How dare you? Can you follow through Facebook? Are they just listening on Facebook, or does it link to Spotify?
It links to Spotify.
Oh, shame on you. Give us a follow. Because we just want to know exactly who we're talking to here. That's all. We're not trying to make money. We're not monetized. We're not, whatever.
No,
all that kind of junk.
If I had 5,000 listeners by next week, I might reconsider.
Yeah, I might be able to retire. Actually, I did that math when we were doing the budget meeting. I was like, if we did monetize and we made this much money per month, I could retire and just do the podcast.
There's a lot of work into that. And that's why I'm not monetized.
Dude, there are people who literally record themselves watching other people's content.
I know.
And they're millionaires. What is going on here?
I think it's hilarious. Or all the people that sit there and listen to some song. This is the first time I've ever heard,
I've never heard Stairway
Black
to Heaven
Dog.
before.
Right. And so they play it and they're like, and they're banging their head.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Oh, give me a break.
How many albums did Led Zeppelin actually sell? I've never heard of this band before.
Is that how you pronounce the band? Lead Zeppelin? Zippeldone?
Are they German?
They're a bunch of fakers.
Oh, boy. Yeah, whatever, man. If you have a bourbon that's your favorite, you want to suggest to us, we'll go out and buy it and we'll try it.
Sure.
That would be fun. We'll do that. And we also, we love guests. We would love for you to come on and tell your story. It doesn't matter what it is. We're open-minded. We have open hearts. We want to hear it. Come on, hang out down in my basement. It's a finished basement. It's not creepy. It's not like a dungeon. That's it, man.
Yeah.
We love you all. Thank you for listening. See you next week.
Peace out.